Let's see. Am I live? I think I am. I can't check. Oh, let's see if I can see chat right here. Where's chat? Hi Kino Custom. I think I'm live. I'm not sure. I think I am because I can read chat. Let's hope so. Guys, if there's anything that's not working, let me know. If it's working, also let me know. Because I had to rush. I really had to rush. Let's see. Is there audio? Yeah, I think there is. Good picture, very clear. All right. Yeah, my wife was stuck in traffic, so I had to prepare dinner, and we just finished dinner, so I had to rush to set everything up, but everything seems to be working. I have a secondary camera set up, my main camera, so yeah, let's get going today. It's a lot of sanding and a lot of chatting. Norman, hope all is well. Yes, all is well. I'm going to tilt you guys a bit backwards. Come on. Nope. Hopefully I can read chat. So, like I said in the previous video, in yesterday's video, today is all about sanding the guitar and get it ready for finish. And of course I already did a lot of sanding in between all the jobs when I was making the body. I sand it regularly. The neck is almost done. So just some finishing touches. And this also gives me time to chat with you guys. So if you have any questions, let me know in chat. Let's first get a sanding block. I'm going to do a lot of sanding by hand. And let's start with 180 grit. And first remove some pencil marks. How are you guys doing? I'm going to change angles. Hold on a moment. Oh, I crashed the iPad. Yeah, you're welcome, Owen. Yeah, I have to, like I said, guys, I'm a bit late, so I have to set up this live stream a bit. Let's see, can I show you what I'm doing? Maybe. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing. I'm setting you up so I can read chat. I have to raise the iPad a little. Yeah, here we go. Let's change this back. Let's change the secondary camera back to iPhone. Why aren't you working anymore? Here we go. So, here we go. Back to chat. Owen Kelly, thanks for another live stream. Doing good, glad I got the cast. Owen, no, this is the center bit, so on the small camera, or maybe on the big camera, this is going to stay 90 degrees. It's rounded over already, so it's nice and easy to touch, so to say, so there's no sharp edge here, but this is staying the way it is, if that's what you mean. Doing good, nice to hear. Hi Stanley, Holland Wood, yeah. Hello Dan. Oh, Martin, enjoy, Mr. Martin, enjoy your cup of tea. Cup of tea, yeah. And yeah, enjoy the stream. So let's first remove a lot of pencil marks. Hi Vasilis, nice of you to join us. And here we go, some sanding to do. And I need to round over these edges. I don't know if that's what you were talking about, Owen. Yeah, I'm not going to touch the frets. And if I do accidentally hit them, I'm always doing another polish when setting up the guitar or just before the strings go on. Yep, come on. Oh, have fun building your guitar. Have fun working in your workshop, Vasilis, and yeah, hopefully you can join the stream from your workshop. Yeah, maybe we could. I've been thinking about maybe trying to come up with a way to do a community build or live classes or something like that, but I'm not sure how to set it up. That anyone can or everyone can join due to the time differences and technical stuff. I wish I could set up a virtual classroom or something like that. But Keener, yeah, I saw your question earlier, I think today or maybe yesterday. I have several in mind. One I want to keep a bit of a secret still, and I'm not sure when or how. But most likely the guitar I'm going to do after this build will be another of my Nessa models. And I might do a full live guitar build with that one because it's a familiar model to me, and I might do maybe a full live stream of that build, or do the entire build on a live stream. That's better English, I think. Come on. And like I just said, I also still have a community build in mind, or at least a build with some more interaction with you guys. So maybe you decide what I build, or do a community designed guitar, something like that. I'm not sure, but at least I have to build another Nessa guitar to go on stock. And yeah, of course, hopefully I get some commissioned builds as well. It's I really need one, to be honest. Yeah, something like a weekend class, indeed, Norman. So it's something I've been thinking about doing more with, yeah, you guys, more with the community. I have to be careful with the 180 grit. It's a bit coarse to do the edges on the mahogany. Hi Sophian, or Sophian, hello. Welcome to the stream, welcome. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how this one is turning out thus far. The next step for me is always a bit scary, doing stain. Nope. Nope. They don't fit. Hi, Barry. I think this is going to be more of an ASMR stream. I think I'm going to be safe rather than sorry. Yep. Ah, it's too short. Let's do it like this. Come on. Let's open up the window a bit.
Norman Cox just sent a super chat and said, for a drink and maybe a few pieces of sandpaper, lol.
Wow. Thank you very much, Norman. Thank you very much. Highly appreciate it. I'll sure to put it to good use. Some sandpaper, of course, because some of my stock is getting real low. Some of my supplies. And yeah, I'll be sure to drink a coffee on your help. Oh, speaking of which, my dedicated coffee girl lady is out. Uh-oh. So I have to take a break. But not yet, not yet. Yeah, I can't thank you enough, Norman. Thank you. But luckily I found a relatively good quality sandpaper and not too expensive. And it lasts exceptionally it lasts an exceptionally long time. Wow. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, thank you. Is it Barry? Or is it L? Oh, L, but he has a black L or AI. But your dot, your logo is black. I'm sorry to hear that. That your custom guitar ended up being a nightmare. I hope you got it resolved with whoever made it. Because I think that's the most important one. Of course, we're doing things by hand, and there could always be something that isn't up to your expectations, or I don't know, breaks or whatever. But I think it's the way you handle complaints, handle defects, that makes all the difference. And I'm sorry to hear you had a bad experience with a custom guitar. But if you're ever in the market for another one, just saying, not applying anything, but did I miss anything? Oh, no. All right, now I'm curious. Oh, thank you, Norman. And you know, guys, you all are more than welcome to, at least until, as long as my channel is manageable, you're all more than welcome to make an appointment and come and visit the workshop. Come have a coffee with me, try out some guitars. Yeah. It might go up for sale, to be honest. So you might have a chance to own this guitar. And I still have that other fretboard. So I can make another one. Oh yeah, you're always welcome to send me to send me your ideas, Safian. Just send me an email. Send an email to info@unquender-guitars.nl, and I'll take a look at it. And I promise I won't copy it. This is in the gray. Starcode, Cool Fraser Gaming, YouTube. Hello, my Dutch friends. How are you? I'm fine. Do I remember you? I'm sorry, not from your username. And for me, I'm looking at this, guys. The chat window is this big, so very small letters, and I can't see any faces in the logos or in the icons. So no, I'm sorry. Starcode, Cool Fraser Gaming. I'm very sorry, but it doesn't ring a bell. Oh, it's you've changed your name then, I think. I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible with names to start with. Names and numbers. It's not my thing, really. And except some of you I see all the time, and I've been seeing your names for years, like Norman and such, and Owen. But I'm terrible with names. I'm very good with faces, but I'm terrible with names and numbers. So I'm sorry, and you have to understand, I see so many names daily in the comment section, in emails, and you name it, that I'm sorry, sometimes I can't remember. I just can't recall. I'm sorry. The channel is doing well. Well, it's it's. I just noticed, by the way, I keep forgetting. It's a number that I just passed the 18K subscribers. But yeah, so the channel overall is growing slow but steady over the years. Unfortunately, and I am going to be honest, that the number of views have been the same. So the total number of views on my videos haven't grown that much. But I think it's a trend seen on other guitar building channels as well, that the overall amount of views is lowering. I don't want to complain because I know I'm very fortunate. But we'll have to see how long I can keep things going the way they're going right now, or the way I want to do them right now. Oh, wow. For a cold beer when the sanding is done. Thank you, Owen. Thank you very, very much. Oh, Mr. Martin. Yeah, I know you. We've been in contact over email, so now I know. Hey, Paul. How are you? Paul is another one I've been in touch with outside of YouTube. So some of the names I do recall, and usually it's the more regular first names. So thank you very much, Owen. It's highly, highly appreciated. So yeah, guys, when it comes to the channel, there isn't a moment during the day that I'm not thinking about improving the content and make it more engaging, more entertaining, and trying to make it a bit more sustainable. Not only when it comes to the finances and to make it affordable, but also when it comes to time. Making my regular videos takes me the entire week. Every single minute I'm not working for my day job or having dinner, I spend on my YouTube channel, making guitars, editing videos, answering emails, you name it. And I love it, don't get me wrong, I wish I could do this the entire week. So quit my day job, and spend all my time making guitars, working on guitars, making videos, creating content. But unfortunately I can't. But who knows, who knows. Now let's focus a bit. Yeah, there are some spots I need to address more. Yeah, what I'm doing right now, guys, I get distracted by chat. What I'm doing right now, of course, the guitar is now already nice and smooth. And now I'm hunting for little scratches, little dents, little tool marks. That can be very tricky to spot and easily mistaken for some grain or some figuring in the wood. But I'm looking real close to spot any marks. And for anyone joining later, I'm using a 180 grit sandpaper for the first pass of sanding. And preparing the body for finish. Paul, how was my holiday? Too short, to be honest. But it was real nice, especially the first 2 weeks. We had perfect weather to go hiking, to visit cities, visit castles, do some cultural stuff and relax a bit. Especially the first couple of days. I slept a lot. I really needed my time to rest, but overall it was great. And yeah, I can highly recommend anyone who loves hiking, loves to go on day walks or multiple day hikes. Go to Luxembourg. It's the infrastructure for hiking and walking is just great. Every town, every city has a starting point for local hikes, and you can just pick whichever length and difficulty level you want. Going for easy walks from about an hour, half an hour, so just a couple of kilometers, to almost day hikes. So yeah, great, all way marked. So yeah, if you're into hiking, into nature, try out Luxembourg. Yeah, yes, Owen, you're 100% right. After or even during COVID, there was such an increase in guitar building channels, and like I said, you can literally see the dip in all guitar building channels, and we have to split the views. Some exceptions, there are some exceptions whose channels have grown explosively. They came from nowhere, and with just a couple of videos they had millions of views, thousands of subscribers. Yeah, but I figured the only way for me is trying to improve both quality and the contents of my content, if that's the correct English, like live streams and such, and just keep at it. You can already see some of those channels that came up during COVID are not uploading anymore, or very irregularly, and those channels will die out eventually. So I just have to keep at it, and that's something that went wrong last year, that I tried to compete and try to compare myself, and I have to try to not do that. Just do my own stuff, make my own videos, and try not to lay awake about it at night. Just try to be myself and try to improve where I see fit, and try not to be jealous or discouraged by other people's channels. And like I say in every video, you guys can help me grow my channel and make this all possible by liking, subscribing, and leaving comments. The more interaction you have on your videos, the better YouTube thinks your videos are, and also watch them back to from front to back, so watch them all the way through. And that means that YouTube thinks that I make good content and will promote it to other viewers as well. I heard a sound, but I don't know, I missed it. But whatever that sound was, I think it's a subscriber, or maybe a tip, latest tip maybe, by Ariane. I missed it, I'm terribly sorry. I heard the sound, but I was too late. But thank you, whoever it was. Let me know in chat. Yeah, thank you, Owen. Thank you very much. And that's what I figured, and that's what I keep in mind. It's hard sometimes, but it's something I'm keeping in mind. As long as I'm able to, and that's just the truth. As long as I like doing what I'm doing, and as long as I'm able to do it, I will keep making content. And at least building guitars. A few scratches. And this shows sanding is not a mindless job, because I keep getting distracted. And I'm wandering all over the place. Let's see, Jim. I'm watching from work. Very relaxing. Oh, nice to be a nice distraction for you, Jim. And also you can see the amount of other builders who respect you. Yeah. Yeah, I wish I wish I managed to be more involved with the Guitar Builders Collective. It's, you know, there's always, everyone has those things that they want to do. For example, go to the gym or be more involved with their kids' schooling or soccer club or you name it, or they want to be more engaged with their social life, with their friends. But for some reason, time flies by without. It's one of, you know what I mean. I don't know what it's called in English, but it's one of those things that never happen. And for me, that's the Guitar Builders Collective on YouTube, to be more involved on forums. In, like I said, I'm 24 hours a day. I'm busy with Nintendo guitars and. I don't know what it's called. Yeah, learning the algorithm, and as soon as you think you know what makes the algorithm tick, they change it. And also, not everyone uses or gets to use the same algorithm. There is not one YouTube algorithm. There are test groups, there are several versions of the A algorithm, because YouTube is constantly tweaking and changing and comparing what keeps people on their platform. And the algorithm isn't for the content creator, the algorithms work for the user. So in this case for you guys. The Misadventure of a Little Wolf. Hi! It's been like, that's one of those names I do recall. Hope you're well. The Phoenix is looking beautiful. Can't wait to see the finish go on. Yeah, me neither. And I hope to get around to pore filling the guitar tomorrow. And then over the weekend start staining the guitar. And so hopefully I get around to filming everything and edit the next video coming Sunday. So you guys have something to watch on Monday evening. And I have an evening off. That's my one evening off. That's Monday evening. Sometimes Saturday if we have social engagements. But usually I'm editing videos or shooting videos or working on guitars on Saturday evening. And I think I have to take tomorrow night off because it's our anniversary and I shouldn't forget it. Yeah, Jim, yeah, shorts certainly help, and that's also one of those things I don't seem to have time for, to go through my content and create shorts. Yeah. And it also, of course, might have to do with the holiday I had, my vacation, because I had some backlog. I created a couple of videos before I went on holiday. But yeah, now we're pretty much, how do you call it, in time with videos. And of course I could have done this in a video as well, easy content, but I think it's more entertaining as a and more valuable as a live stream than it is in a video, sanding. So I think the body is done for now. There is a, yeah, maybe here there's a pattern right here, of which I'm not sure if it's grain or tiny scratches. For those of you who sanded maple, I think you know what I mean, those tiny little lines that go in the direction you're sanding, and you're not sure if they're scratches or they're just inside the wood. Yeah, I think it's grain pattern. So, chat. Oh, thank you very much. ITNOC, ITNOC. I'm sorry if I pronounced it, if I butchered your username. Keener, you're surely right about the time. Flies. Yeah, same here. Yeah, yesterday I was still 16, only 16, and in one night we're 29 years have passed. Oh, I wish the days dragged, yeah, the ones I'm in the office, but as soon as I step into the workshop, maybe the workshop is a time machine. I think that must be the case. Because when you're here, time really flies. Up to what grit am I sanding before staining? I used to go up to 320 grit, sometimes 400 grit, but the guys over at Nitrolac recommended to go only up to 240 grit. I did some research, and I was always scared that you would see scratches from the sandpaper in the stain, in the finish, but apparently when you sand up to a too high of a grit, so anything above 240 grit, you start to press down and flatten the grain and the wood structure, so it can't soak up any stain, so the stain is staying on top of the wood because you've burnished to some extent the wood fibers all flat and they closed up, so they can't soak up any stain. So it was recommended to me to very carefully sand up to 240 grit so the pores and the grain stays nice and open. Then very lightly, and you should do that always, with a wet cloth, clean or humidify, if that's the correct word, the wood fibers so they stand up. Then sand it once again with your latest grit and then apply stain. So that's what was recommended by the guys over at Nitrolag, and I'm going to follow their tutorials and their advice to the letter this time. So now I'm sanding with 180, and I'm taking my time with the 180, and then the passes with 220 and 240 should be relatively easy. It's only to remove the scratches left by the 180 grit sandpaper. And of course the mahogany I'm going to grain fill with a, here it is, with a water-based black colored grain filler. You can dilute it a bit so you get a nice consistency of filler. You can just smear it on or wipe it on with a rag or just with your fingers. Fill the grain, let it dry, sand it off, and then it should be, the mahogany should be ready to receive some primer and some clear coat. But first, sanding. Thank you, Norman. And you've made my day as well, Norman. If you're still here, good luck with your classes and see you the next time. I'm the same when I'm making. Oh, when I'm making. Yeah, same here. Well, I hope my girlfriend doesn't come in when my wife is, but usually my wife has to tell me it's time to bed, or she used to do that. These days, she just tells me she's going to bed, and that's a hint that it's getting late, and I also need to think about getting to sleep. And usually it will take me another hour, maybe 1.5. Because when I'm done in the workshop, I can't go to sleep straight away. I always need to rewind a bit. It's my free time, just in a half an hour before I go to bed. Time management becomes a skill. Let's see. Norman, ciao. Yeah, raising the grain, indeed, Mr. Martin. All right, all right. Hi Cliff. Yeah, I'm well. I'm doing well. I'm back in the workshop again, so couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. Nice live stream. Nice chatting with you guys while trying to sand a guitar body. But we're getting there. It isn't as rough anymore. Pickups. I'm going to use Fishman Classic. So the Fluence Classics from Fishman. Fishman is my go-to pickup because of the versatility. Oh yeah, the Morinessa was a great guitar. Favorite guitar I've built on YouTube. It's like it's like asking me to pick my favorite child. It's always the next one. That's the politically correct answer, I think. I think the next one will be my favorite. But at least I hope that my video series will be better than this video series and so on. But my favorite guitar build, I think the Morinessa went very well. I love the challenge of the Westone Pantera tribute. The one I did for my customer last year, and that's because it was for a customer. That's always special. The Celtic Sonia, so the single cut with all the intricate Celtic inlays, was a bit hectic. I'm very proud of that guitar. It's maybe my best playing guitar. But when I was editing, or when I was filming the episodes, there was also a photographer present in the workshop, which made it a bit more complicated. Besides having to worry about building a guitar, filming YouTube episodes and videos, and having a photographer shooting. I'm sorry, guys. Shooting photos. It was a bit hectic. But that's a really good playing guitar. So yeah, I really can't pick. Yeah, the Tosin Abashi pickups. That's what I do. Those pickups I use in my modern guitars, like the Nessa, like the Nessa model and the Pantera Westone Pantera tribute, the X390 tribute. There were Tosin Abashi pickups in them. Yeah, when it comes to the Fluence, so the modern pickups, I like the Tosin Abashi pickups best. I'm sorry, guys. Is there a mute button here? Should be. Yeah. And we're back. Thank you, Evan, of Cliff Evans. Yeah, it's a stunning build, and that's another guitar I intend to make more. The guitar is gorgeous, but there are some things I like to change on that guitar, like the headstock. The guitar is this bit, so 2 centimeters too long to fit in a regular case. So I have to change the headstock just a little for it to fit in a case. And overall I wanted that headstock to be very similar to the original, but it could be nicer. It really could benefit from a redesign. Yeah, I can understand the misadventure of Little Wolf. Of course, although the Celts were originally from the German, Swiss, Austrian border region before they started to move. That guitar was also inspired by my love for Scotland, to be honest. I really need to go there soon. I just talked about hiking, and my brother did the West Highlands Way this year by himself. And that's a hike I also want to do. And we talked about maybe doing the Speyside Way or the Great Glen Way together coming year. There's a tiny bit of a bump right here. Oh, that's another great one to take a look at, the East Highland Way. Yeah, I do. Little Wolf, something less complicated. Yeah, essentially that's my Sonia guitars. Those are simple. Of course, they're heavily inspired by a Les Paul and by a Telly, and those are quite easy to make. Are relatively. Of course, they don't have the complicated inlaid top. And they're pretty easy to carve, very relaxing to carve. But I still have a couple for sale, so I don't think I'm going to build one of those in the near future, unfortunately. They don't seem to sell for I don't know whichever reason. What the? Nope. What the? An Explorer influenced guitar. What? Kinda? Of course, the Explorer was heavily influenced by a Firebird. Although I would love to maybe do a guitar like that someday, for personal reasons it's impossible for me to do a Explorer right now. And what I'm also trying to do, and I think you guys have been with me long enough to notice the difference, especially in the music and the style I'm using in my videos, that I'm trying to steer away from what most people are doing. Not because most people are doing that, but I try to free myself of the typical heavy metal genre guitars. My guitars aren't, some of them are, but not all my guitars are heavy metal guitars. And that's also something I don't want to be known for, to be how do you say? I don't want to be known as only making heavy metal guitars. So that's why I'm trying to avoid a lot of heavy music in my videos and try to show and build other guitars that are more suitable for all kinds of genres. And I think there already are too many guitar builders, especially here in the Netherlands, that are solely known for heavy metal guitars. I think that market is also a bit saturated. Hi Dennis. Not really. Right, Cliff, I'm a bit behind. Quad neck guitar. Why not? Or hell no. Hell no. Unless commissioned. And yeah, I don't know. I think I can see why someone would have a double neck guitar, but when it comes to, let's say, the Hydra for Vi, of course it's a gimmick. It's very gimmicky, and that's not really my cup of tea. I know it has its place, and it would be very tricky to build one, but it's not for me, at least not at this point in my career or in my guitar building journey. There's still a slight bump here, guys. Yeah, it's gone. Nice. I do the same in my leatherwork as much as possible. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, a little wolf. I'm not consciously steering away from what other people are doing. I mostly want to do my own thing, but of course, I can't deny that when I see someone else doing it, or 3 other people doing what I have planned to do, I'm going to do something else. Unless I really like my own idea, and I'm going to do it anyway. Variety is the spice of life. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Although when you have some points on the so-called spectrum, variety is not always easy, or change isn't always easy. You need to play some smooth jazz. Yeah, I'm afraid that's one thing I'm scared of when this guitar is finished, the demo. I haven't played guitar in months. So yeah, playing guitar. I might have to hire someone to play the guitar for me. Seven-string Sonia, yeah, maybe one day. Cliff. I saw fire playing. Oh yeah, the Hydra. Yes, Little Wolf. Yeah, the Hydra. Yeah. Yeah, Vi could play it, but I think he also said it was a gimmick. It was just for fun. Oh, congratulations, Cliff. Bit late, but happy birthday. Hope you had a great day. Yeah, happy belated. Yeah. Where did the name? I will tell you in a moment. As soon as I've read all the chat, I will explain where the name Unquender comes from. No, you won't. Mr. Martin playing and making them, and I'm always afraid that when I start playing a guitar that I will play it second hand. That the new guitars are all well used before they get sold. So they're all hanging in the showroom in the dark, waiting for their new owners. The name Unquender, who asked? Jim. The name Unquender comes from an Elvish language invented by Tolkien. The language is Quenya, so the Elvish language Quenya, invented by Tolkien. We all know him as the writer of The Lord of the Rings. And Unquender, translated from Quenya, from Elvish to English, means something like hollow land. And when you translate hollow land roughly into Dutch, you get Holland. And because I'm Dutch, I'm from Holland. When I was, I think, 17, 18 years old, when the internet just came into our houses and we all needed usernames, I was just reading Lord of the Rings and we had a dictionary, a Tolkien dictionary, and I was flicking through the dictionary looking for a cool username, and I came across Unquender and saw a translation that it roughly translated into Holland, and that's when I started using Unquender as my username. So when I started making guitars, it was only natural to me to keep using that name. So that's where it comes from, and I'm still a fantasy nerd to some extent. I love reading fantasy books, fantasy novels, fantasy movies. So it really suits me and my personality, I think. So yeah, I know it's not the most practical name when it comes to its spelling and the pronunciation for some, especially when you have to spell it or mention your email address on the phone or your website. But yeah, I've invested so much in the name, in the brand, that for now I'm going to stick with it. Although it's, when it comes to marketing, it's not the the best name I could have chosen. But yeah, that's where the name Unquender comes from. Oh, that's a good question, Little Wolf. Holland is officially, it's a part of the Netherlands. Of course, the country is called the Netherlands, the official name. But the two largest provinces that make up almost half of the country are North and South Holland. And those are the most, well, maybe not the largest, but the most populated two provinces of the Netherlands are North and South Holland. South Holland is where The Hague is and Rotterdam. And of course, North Holland is where the Schiphol airport is, Amsterdam, Haarlem. So those are the most well-known cities, if I may say so myself, especially for people from abroad. Are the most well-known cities are in those provinces. And yeah, when you dive back into the history, the counts of Holland were very prominent, and so the Netherlands has English. Come on. Holland has been a nickname for the Netherlands for a very, very long time. Even the the national website, the tourism website, is called Visit Holland or something like that, or Holland.com. So yeah, Holland is a very well known and very often used nickname for the Netherlands. But officially, you only have two provinces called Holland. That's North and South Holland. And I'm from South Holland. I live near Rotterdam. I wish my English was a bit better to explain. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you, Cliff. Yeah, we have... There still are very beautiful areas in the Netherlands. It is tiny. It really is tiny. And when you go on a walk or when you go hiking, you're never far from, let's call it civilization. You can always, and that's sometimes a shame, when you're out in the forest, you can always hear a road or a highway or something, and that's a bit unfortunate sometimes. I'm going to put you guys maybe right here. Hey Daniel, you need to prepare your guitar for finish, not carve the belly carve. Yeah, I know. But I don't like this curve. I don't know does it show up on the little camera? Maybe. There's a curve right here. So it goes up, and then it curves into the rest of the body. And I think I don't like this part. So I'm going to remove it. Can you guys spot the difference? It's on the little camera, so hopefully it shows up if your screen is big enough. Thanks. Thank you, little wolf. I took a visit to Alkmaar once. Oh yeah, Alkmaar, also a nice city, also great cheese market. They still do, I don't know if they do it daily or... I'm not sure when they do the old-fashioned cheese market display on the town square in Alkmaar. Yeah, there are great musicians and bands in the Netherlands. Of course, we're most known for our EDM, so the electronic dance music. That's really a typical Dutch thing. Within the country itself, guitar music not as much, except for some local bands, but you don't hear any of the well-known Dutch metal bands, for example. No Within Temptation, no The Gathering, although they don't play anymore, but bands like that, Epica, you never hear them on the radio, unfortunately. My favorite and least favorite woods to work with. My favorite wood, I think it's Black Limba. Black Limba or maple, it depends. Those are, and this mahogany is also, yeah, it's to work with. It's very similar to Black Limba, but I love the figuring and the looks of Black Limba a bit more. And least favorite wood, regular pine. It's a nightmare to work with. Regular pine, construction timber or lumber, how do you call it? Construction cheap ass. Sorry YouTube, very cheap construction materials. This weekend I helped some acquaintances with putting up some walls and such in their gym, and I had to make some wood joints and such, but in just construction timber. You can't get perfection, let's put it like that, with construction timber and wood joints. Yeah guys, I think I'm there. I can... This is one of those areas I can keep tweaking. A belly carve. And especially this one, because what's it called? Convex, concave, convex or concave? When there's a hollow swoop in a surface. I always get them mixed up. But I don't know if it shows up, but the entire belly carve has a scoop. And that in this transition it starts to flatten out. And then starts to curve the other way. And that's because sanding this tiny edge, you easily round it over. That's something I don't want. So let's see, more chat. Yeah, there are a lot of show and cover bands. Tribute bands are a real thing at the moment. Let's see, Danis, did you buy the scrapers at Baptiste? Yeah, I think I did. At least one set. I know I've gotten one set. Yeah, you will know, you're Dutch, so St. Nicholas. I got one set from St. Nicholas, and I bought another set, and I think they both came from Baptiste. So the one is, it's a Kirchen set, I believe. Yeah, so German, Kirchen.de, and the other ones, I believe I have some Veritas scrapers, and even a Baco scraper, and this one comes from the local Hornbach, I think. So I have a whole variety of scrapers. Of course, I have also the thick scrapers that come from TLC Guitar Goods. They come sharpened, but you have to maintain them. And if you get the Kirchen ones, they also have a burnisher to burnish the edges to get a new burr on the side. You probably answered this a million times. How long have you been making guitars? 7 years now. I started making guitars in 2017, and it started for me with well, it always has been a childhood dream. Ever since I was a kid, I was drawing guitars and interested in guitars. And at one point I got a book from a local library making, and I've told this story many times already. From the local library I got a little booklet, making musical instruments for kids. So we all know the toilet paper filled with rice and with two paper caps at the end, and you have a shaker, a tea box base, so a big box, a broomstick, and one little piece of string, and you have yourself a bass guitar. And there was also a very simple electric guitar in that book, just a single piece of wood with a cardboard body cut out, a single string, and a magnet wrapped with copper wire as a very simple pickup. And you could hook it up to your stereo system, because of course in the 80s everyone had a big stereo system at home. And you could connect it to that, but of course I'm from a small village and internet didn't exist, and I went through all kinds of stores, but nobody could really help me, and I never made that little guitar, but the dream of making guitars always kept slumbering. And of course also no one told me that it could be a profession, that you could be a professional guitar maker. I think in those days almost no one made guitars here in the Netherlands, maybe a couple, but we didn't know, and no one told me that you could do it as a profession. So I went to become a plumber instead. But I kept designing and kept drawing guitars, and when I had my first acoustic guitar, me and my mother together, I think I was 12, 13 maybe, we refretted that guitar as best we could. My mother painted Dutch folk style painting on the body, a floral design on the body. Just with a brush I did some clear varnish and so I pinned my own acoustic guitar. And then, like I said, I became a plumber. I started working full time, and the guitar building business dream died a little until I bought the home I'm in right now, and I made a little shed. My previous workshop, you all know it, I think. At least those who have been with me for more than a year will know my old shed. And when I had that shed, I had a little workbench, and one day I was playing one of my guitars when I noticed it detuning constantly, and when I looked down I saw that the neck joint, it was an SG, a cheap SG copy, that the neck joint had separated from the body. And then I thought, well, this guitar is done, it's broken, it's busted, so I'm going to try and see if I can fix it myself. I now have a shed, so I have some tools and I have some space to work on the guitar. Let's see if I can find anything on YouTube that can help me fix this guitar. And I went down the rabbit hole just like I think most of you guys. I started watching, of course, Crimson guitars, Highline guitars, most of the well-known YouTube channels, and I started working on my guitar. I fixed the neck joint, I repainted and refinished that guitar, and when I was working on that guitar, yeah, the old dream reignited, the old flame reignited, and I thought, well, I have a bit of money, I have a shed, I have some tools. I asked permission from my wife. Do you mind me spending every waking hour in my workshop? And well, she said okay, but she didn't have any idea what it would come to. Because I think if she did, she would never said yes. But she did say yes, and I went to buy some more tools, bought some good lumber, some good wood, and I started making my first guitar. And when that guitar was done and I played it for the first time, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to build guitars, so I immediately bought more parts, more wood, and started making the second guitar. A third guitar, I went on a course, came back and started building guitars, and from one thing came another. Someone ordered a guitar for me who wanted to keep track of the progress, so we decided to put some videos up on YouTube, and well, a couple of years later, and here we are. So that's the entire story of how I started building guitars. No, Barry, I haven't seen the ultimate scraper from StewMac. I rarely, because of course I'm in the Netherlands, so I rarely look at the offerings of StewMac. Because usually I can, the shipping makes it so expensive that I can find similar stuff here in the Netherlands. Caves go in. Oh, concave. Oh, yeah, I get it, Stanley. Concave. So cave goes in. So concave is hollow, so to say, and convex is the other way around. I don't know how it's called. In Dutch we call it bol, but you've got a hollow and you've got a the other way around. So concave. Oh, that's good to remember. Caves go in. All right, all right. You see, not only you guys are learning, me too, me as well. I'm brushing up on my English. Very well. Oh, I've been with it. Well, right. Oh, bye Cliff. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. All right. Yeah. Yeah, no internet in the good old days. So let's try and send them back. I'm going to try. Come on. I think it shows up on the small camera as well, all those little lines. And you can see, guys, I've been using the same piece of sandpaper the entire evening. It still works great. Do I have any upcoming guitar shows? Yes, I do. Of course, last Saturday was the Vintage Guitar Show Veenendaal, but unfortunately I couldn't attend this edition. But the next show I will be attending will be the Amsterdam Guitar Heaven on the 23rd of November, Saturday, 23rd, 24th of November. One of those 2 days, but it's on a Saturday. It's in Amsterdam. Yeah, if you're able to come and see that guitar show. It's the entire afternoon. Is the Guitar Gear Show, which I will be attending, but the entire day there are workshops. Both you can attend by just walking in, and there are some master classes by well-known artists, well-known guitarists that you have to sign up for in advance, and they're usually well worth the time and effort. And yeah, throughout the day there are seminars, there are workshops, there's shows, and of course the Guitar Gear Show, where I'm presenting my guitars, my work, and I intend to bring this guitar, and that's why I really need to finish this guitar. Also because of the curing time of the lacquer. It has to cure for a couple of weeks before I can polish this guitar. So yeah, that's one show I'm going to attend at least for this year. And for next year I hope to attend at least all the Dutch shows. So both the Brits Guitar Festival in Eindhoven in May In March there's the spring edition of the Vintage Guitar Show. Then, yeah, like I said, in May the Bridge Guitar Festival. Then in September again the autumn edition or the fall edition of the Vintage Guitar Show. And then of course Amsterdam Guitar Heaven. And I think those are the 4 out of the 5 shows here in the Netherlands. And maybe guys, if you know another show I should attend, of course I would love to go to Montreux, to Switzerland, and I would love to go to the Guitar Summit. That's this weekend, I think, in Germany, but those are a bit above my budget still. Those shows are fairly expensive to attend. Not only the admission fee, so the rent you have to pay for your a spot on the show floor, but as well as of course traveling and staying there, and especially the combination. So if you know any shows in Germany, Belgium, maybe in the UK that are worthwhile for me to check out, yeah, let me know either in the chat or preferably send me an email so I won't forget. And that's the best way to get in touch with me, is by sending me an email. I started sending. Yeah, I've been to the Nordic Guitar Dag not last year, I think the year before. It's a bit, yeah, it's a long drive for me. I have to stay in a hotel for 2 days, and also how do you put it? I love the guys and the way they organized the show. But I was a bit out of place, let's put it like that. I don't know how to explain it any better. Or I was a bit out of place. What bands and artists am I listening to? Yeah, currently when I'm listening to music, it's often amorphous, especially the newer albums. So Queen of Time, Halo, Under the Red Sky is the other album, I think. So that and various symphonic metal bands, Nightwish, Epica, Irion, The Gathering. Usually I have my phone on shuffle when I'm listening to music. But lately when I'm in the workshop, when I say I'm putting on some music, usually it's a podcast or just a YouTube video of a podcast or something, or audio book. And sometimes I like to put on those, let's call them YouTube mixtapes or YouTube mixes of folk bands. So a lot of music, the acoustic music you hear on my channel, for example. Those more folky, medieval tunes. So your early 70s, Barry. I'm also a 70s kid, of course, but I was late 70s. So the 80s, I used to listen to a lot of Marillion, but I'm not so into the newer stuff. It's good, but it's not really my thing. That's really a very 80s band, of course. I'm not, me personally, I'm not that familiar with Zappa. I know some of his songs, but yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit too young, maybe, if you can say that, for Zappa. And also my parents weren't into Frank Zappa. So, yeah, Genesis, of course. The Peter Gabriel era, maybe, or early Phil Collins era. And then, of course, bands influenced by my parents, of course. I grew up on the tunes of Status Quo, Dire Straits, Bruce Springsteen, but mostly Status Quo. That's what I grew up with. At the moment I'm using 180 grit sandpaper and the brand is Proline Gold. It seems, the name is very corny maybe, but it's a sandpaper. I think it's made in Germany because it's sold at our local Hornbach and you have to look for it. It's not in the sandpaper aisle. It has its own, what do you call it, section of shelving with only this brand of sandpaper. So I think it's really a brand and not just their household brand. It isn't the most expensive sandpaper you can get, but it certainly isn't the most cheap as well. I have a sneaking suspicion that it comes from the same factory as the Bosch sandpaper, because I have my 320 grit sandpaper is from Bosch and it's very, very similar, very, very close. And according to a friend of mine who is in the hardware and tool trade, he says there's only a handful of sandpaper factories. So most likely it comes from the same factory as the Bosch abrasives. And that's another good sandpaper, good quality sandpaper brand. Talking about sandpaper, one brand of sandpaper that disappointed was the Festool sheets of sandpaper. Don't buy, don't step in that trap. Yeah, you would be surprised how well this still sands, and you can see it when I'm sanding. Is there a section I still need to sand? Yeah, right here. How much it still takes off. And that's why I've been using this brand, I don't know for how long. It comes in rolls and you can get the tiny rolls, 20-meter rolls, but also very big spools of sandpaper, and it lasts very long. I don't know why it keeps lasting. Maybe it shows up maybe on this small camera if it focuses. It hardly clogs up. I've been using this sheet for the entire evening, so I've been sanding with this sheet for almost 2 hours now. And there's no real reason for me to change it yet. So if you're looking for sandpaper and you have a Hornbach near you or access to a Hornbach, look up the Proline Gold. They have sheets and they have those 15 centimeters, 150 millimeter wide rolls. I can recommend it. Or Bosch. And especially the 180 grit. 180 and the 240. I think there's a bit difference in quality, it seems, between the grits. Because, for example, let's see, let's grab a piece of 220. Although it's the same brand, and so the one is the Proline Gold 220 and the other one is the 180, and I will show it right here as well, the difference. There's a different process, so it's the 220 is different than the rest, and this one seems to lose its sharpness, so to say, a bit easier, and it clocks up a bit faster than the 180 and the 240. Yeah, it's the I have the Japanese sandpaper, or it's not really sandpaper. Is it Kovacs? Where is it? No, I can't find it anymore. I have a whole box of abrasives. Mostly those pads. For fine sanding, I love those foam pads. Again, you can get them from, I think it's Kovacs, the Japanese brand. You can get them, but you can also get them from Bosch. Great stuff. And of course, Micra. Of Mirka. Yeah, I think Mirka is also one of the main manufacturers, not only for their own brand, but make sandpaper for other brands as well. And most likely a handful of factories in the East as well, so to say. Yeah, sanding. And while being distracted by chat, it takes a bit longer than I expected, but hey, I'm having fun. And hopefully so do you guys. And I have to check my batteries. Ah, well, I'm halfway through my batteries. Yeah, I know why my wife's not home yet. Yeah. Oh, I'm hidden behind the camera. So, Let's see what happens if we go up the grid. In this case, I hope I'm not butchering your name. H. Meliaris? No, that isn't correct, because when speaking English you tend to start pronouncing the letters in English, but I'm not sure. But to what grid am I sanding before applying finish? Today I'm sanding up to 240, and then I'm going to apply a wood filler or a grain filler to the mahogany parts. And after grain filling the mahogany parts, I'm going to apply stain to the top, and then when everything is applied I can start applying a sealer, and when the sealer is on, the primer is on, I'm going to send it up to 400 grit before applying the clear coat. So now switching over from 180 to 220, and I'm going to make sure I'm dusting off the entire guitar body so there's no 180 grit grain on the body making unintended scratches. And I've already sanded the neck to 240 after carving the neck. So I only have to touch it up. And I could see some scratches right here when changing the light. Come on. Yeah, here we go. Maybe. Oh, thanks, little wolf. Yeah, the volute. Yeah, it's sexy, isn't she? And you can see the difference maybe. I think this camera picks it up better. The difference in the 220 grit instead in comparison with the 180. This is already starting to wear. Don't know why. It's just different. Same line, same brand. I think I have another sanding session tomorrow afternoon. Huh? A small piece and a small sanding block. Personally, for me, as you can see, I like to sand by hand. For one, this is dusty, but it's acceptable if I don't blow too much and don't go too crazy on the sandpaper. The dust isn't as airborne as with a power tool. And I have several power sanders, orbital sander and random orbital sanders, and they're noisy. They make a lot of dust. They're not so suitable to be used on camera, especially during a live stream, of course. And I'm never really happy with the final result. Maybe I have to invest in, for example, a Micra of a Mirka sander, but I would love to give them a go first before I invest in a $600-700 sander that I'm most likely never going to use. So yeah, I have more faith and more confidence in sanding by hand for now, and that's because I haven't had particular good results with a sander. Of course, I use my spindle sander. I've used it in yesterday's video, for example, to do most of the cleanup work around the edges and such, but the finishing touches I like to do it by hand. And yeah, it might take me 2 times as long as doing it with a sander, but I don't know. What do you guys prefer? I'm curious to know that. Or if you have any recommendations for me this time. Yeah, rough with machines. So. Yeah, exactly. So you guys as well. So the rough and coarse passes with a machine, belt sanders, spindle sanders, random orbital sanders, and then fine sand by hand when it comes to finishing. All right, all right. I must say this alder really sands very good. Very easy to sand. So. Ooh. Yes, same here, Mr. Martin. I have a Hitachi or a Haikoku these days. And no matter what I do, I always get very tiny swirl marks. And maybe that's the 400 or 500 euro difference with a Mirka sander or a very high-end Festool. But yeah, I would love if I could try one out for a couple of days. Because, for example, my big drum sander, it's usually loaded with 100 grit sandpaper. And if I put, for example, a top through, it comes out so smooth. And that's 100 grit. But I think it has to do with the speed at which it sands, that you do get a relatively fine surface even with 100 grit. So let's raise the grain a bit on the top. Let's see. Yeah. All right, that's maybe worth looking into at the Walt Center. All right. Stanley, how do I price my guitars? I would say too low, but you you mean the method of how to calculate the price for your guitars. What I do, and we're going to, I buy all my hardware, of course, all the hardware needed for the guitar, wood and such. So those are fixed prices. So I add those up, and of course without taxes. So let's say all the costing price of a guitar is for a manufacturer without taxes applied. No taxes, no fees. So usually when you're a business like I am, or try to be, you can buy, at least here in the Netherlands, all your materials tax-free. So you add all those up, everything you're going to use. And of course, you're also going to estimate, if you want to do it correctly, how much you're spending on paper towels, on glue, on sandpaper, on you name it, all the extras. For example, if you use 10 pencils a year building guitars, you have to divide the cost of those 10 pencils over the amount of guitars you're buying. So if it means you have a buck, let's say €1 on pencils you spend on a guitar, you have to add that €1. So all the expenses, all the fixed pricing that goes into making a guitar. Then your time and what you think you are worth. So I don't know. The minimum wage of a self-employed craftsman, and that's the minimum wage here in the Netherlands, they recommend is about $30, excluding taxes, excluding everything, and that's the bare minimum. And I think they recently raised it to approximately 35. So that depends on what you think your time is worth. So you can do that. So let's say you spend 100 hours on a guitar, times $30 is $3,000 on labor alone. And if you spend 50 hours on a guitar, it's 1,500. And if you think you're worth more, you can ask more. And if you think you're a hobbyist and you say, well, I'm happy to get $500 out of it, you can add $500 to your costing price. So materials and your time together is the costing price of the guitar. That's not your selling price, it's the costing price, what it costs you to make the guitar. When it comes to selling, if you have, for example, a workshop, and that's what's called overhead in business. You get your overhead, so that's your cost of your workshop, your, I don't know what it's called, your tools. In the Netherlands you have to, if you buy a tool or a machine, everything above a certain price, I believe it's 420 euros, 450 euros, you have to put it in your bookkeeping, in the books, and you have to deduct 20% of that costing price every year. So if you buy a machine of 1,000 euros, it costs you 200 euros a year. So you have to add those 200, you have to divide that 200 euros through the amount of guitars you're making that year. So if you're making 2 guitars, it's 100 euros to your overhead, and so on. So all your costs you make in a year, for your website, for your marketing, for your whatever, subscriptions. For example, I have my Epidemic subscription for the music I use on my YouTube videos. I have to pay a couple of €100 every year to be able to put music in my videos. So those costs are either coming from my YouTube, so that's what I use my YouTube AdSense income for. It's subscriptions for my music, for example. But if you're only making guitars, so all the costs you make to running your business in a year, you should deduct to the number of instruments you make in a year. So that's only costing price. You have had some salary, but you haven't made any profit. So you can't buy a new bandsaw if it breaks down, unless it comes out of your own pocket. So you have to also put in a certain margin to be able to invest back into your country, back into your company or into your business, to buy new tools, or maybe if you have a very good customer, you can give them a bit of a discount without it coming from your own pocket. So that's how you determine the costing price or the selling price of your guitar. And for the most part, things like the hourly wage, or what you would like to have, like to earn for making the guitar, is all up to you. And of course the amount of profit margin you want to put on your guitar comes into play. Keep in mind though, when you're selling your guitars direct, that's the only things you have to factor into the selling price of your guitar before taxes. And when you decide to put your guitars in a store, then you get another thing you have to add to the costing price of your guitar, and that's the margin or the commission you want the dealer, your dealers, to get when they sell your guitar. And usually that's more than 20%, 20 to 30%. So above all those costs I just mentioned, there's another 30% to go on to the selling price. That's for your dealer, if you want to go sell your guitars in the store. And on top of that, depending on where you are, comes the sale tax. And for the Netherlands, on top of that comes another 21% that goes directly to the government. So that's how if you want to make a bit of money on making guitars, that's how you should calculate the price of your guitars. Bit of a long answer, but I hope this also cleared something up for anyone using this in the future, or for anyone watching this stream. How usually prices are calculated for any handmade, or any factory does exactly the same. Only they make thousands or 20,000 guitars a year, so their overhead can be divided over a much larger number of guitars. So, sore throat, I haven't drank anything. Consumables. Add website. All the costs. Unfortunately, like all activities, whether cars, bikes, holidays, destination, eating out, clothing. Tool snobbery. Yeah, tool snobbery is massive. Yeah, Mr. Martin, De Walt and Elu existed, at least here in the Netherlands, existed next to each other. And there was a fusion or emergence between all the brands. Indeed, Boyd, Black & Decker. Oh, I think there's two discussions. I missed the whole tool snobbery. Yeah, Danish, there are new guitars for 90 euros. It's impossible. And the only way they can do it, and then there's shipping from overseas, is because the factories and those brands are, oh, thank you, intentionally trying to disrupt the market. And those factories are highly subsidized by governments just to disrupt economies. That's my idea about 90 euros, 90 bucks guitars, because that's including 21% taxes. So that guitar is only 5-6 euros to make, and it's impossible. No matter how cheap the labor, no matter how cheap the materials, everything under 10 bucks to make, it's impossible. And there are YouTube videos that are more by people much more knowledgeable about the guitar manufacturing industry worldwide than I am, that have made YouTube videos about it, especially about a German brand by a German store, and what's wrong with it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mrs. Unquendor. She's back home and she decided, well, I think you haven't had any coffee yet. And she brought me coffee and a bottle of water. Yeah, we're having the same time of coffee, although it's 9:30. So it might not be the best time to have coffee, but hey. I'm getting distracted. Yeah. I don't think that's ever going to happen, Owen. Sometimes she does ask me how she can help when I'm spending too much time or I'm too busy. And I always ask her, well, do you know how to sand? Because the body needs sanding. And then she always says, well, I'll make dinner and get you some coffee. And that's, to be honest, guys, that's maybe even more important than helping in the workshop. Especially the last year when there was so much going on in everything, that she always made sure I had my food, I was comfortable, and that I didn't have to worry about what's it called, manual things, everyday things like groceries, like cooking, like eating, drinking. I think it's even more important than someone to help you sand a guitar body or route a cavity for you. It's an unpaid personal assistant. And the biggest sponsor of this channel, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow we've been married for 9 years, I think. And we know our strengths and our weaknesses and how to deal with each other's strengths and weaknesses. Yes, he's a keeper. If you have a merch store. Oh yeah, Misadventure of Little Wolf. Yeah, I have a merch store. Underneath all my videos, there should be a shopping bar with t-shirts, mugs, sweaters, hoodies, and I don't know the website. I don't know if it's in the description, if I put it in the description of this live stream. I can't check on my iPad, but in my videos, in the description of my videos and underneath all my videos, there should be a merchandise store. And if not, go to the website, unquendor-guitars.nl, and there's a link to the merch store in the upper right corner. And guys, when it comes to merch, I'm not wearing it today. This t-shirt isn't available in the regular merch store. This t-shirt comes with the guitars that are shipping right now. When they ship. And the Phoenix Rising merchandise. So the hoodie and the t-shirt are only available while I'm building this guitar. As soon as I've released either the demo or the master edit, they will be removed from the store. So they are limited, so to say, or at least available for a limited amount of time. And I'm working on another method of making and providing merch. But again, that's one of those things I have to go to a supplier because I want to be very smart to do, but I want to have more control over the quality and such for my merchandise. Or at least the t-shirts and the hoodies and the sweaters, and I want to do coats or those wind jackets, soft shell jackets and such. So let me know, guys, if you're interested in merch. If you're interested, what would it be? Would it be t-shirts, hoodies, pants, underwear, socks, mugs, pens, picks, guitar picks? Thank you, Owen. I'll take 10% of sales done during the stream. Yeah, well, I think you won't get rich, I know for a fact. Unless someone is ordering 100 shirts at a time. All right, all right. I have both. I have both little wolf. I'm not sure, back a guitar. It depends on how deep your pockets are. And And to be honest, if you're outside the EU, those 21% VAT or sales tax doesn't apply. At least not directly from my side. It might be that you have to pay import duties when you're outside of the EU. Within the European Union, I'm small enough that I just have to add the Dutch sales tax, and there shouldn't be any import fees on your end when you're in the EU. But most likely when you're outside the European Union, as soon as I ship the guitar to you, customs will send you a bill to pay import duties. That includes taxes usually. That's something I always try to help customers with, but it's getting harder and harder. I'm try always to find the information needed, but I'm not a tax expert, especially not when it comes to other countries. As an example, as a YouTuber, I have to do American. For the US, I have to fill out forms for the IRS and for Google as well. Now they keep sending me emails that I have to provide a certificate of some sort. And no one in the Netherlands, not even the tax agency, knows about this document. It's unknown to us, but it's especially a document I think that's normal in, I guess, the US. And now they're asking YouTubers to send in that form. But we don't have it. It's not available. And now they're threatening, telling us that they might deduct US taxes from our YouTube income. Yeah, Floyd Rose routing template. I am working on that. I have a modular. For those who know my channel, I have a modular Floyd Rose routing system. A couple of templates that fit together to route for Schaller, the Lockmeister, and the regular Floyd. I'm thinking about maybe starting to sell templates, humbucker templates, routing templates, but also custom guitar templates. Not my guitar models, but making bespoke templates for guitar builders. But that means I have to do a fairly large investment, both in time and equipment. And you know the dilemma. If I invest in equipment to make templates, that's money taking out of the Inquendo bank account, and that's money I can't spend on building guitars and thus making videos. Also, if I invest time, it means if I invest time in setting up that part of the Inquendo Guitars business, I don't have any time to make videos. So no income. It's a bit of a dilemma I'm in. So yeah, let me know if that would be something you're interested in. And I'm really thinking about how I could, again, make this sustainable and in the same time help you guys with maybe stuff you would like to see. And everyone in this stream are regulars, so I'm not afraid to ask. And to be honest. I can imagine, little wolf, you miss being in the EU. We miss you too. Especially Scotland. Oh yeah, I can imagine, Owen, that being an island is especially a hassle right now. I think the more you get to Northern Ireland, the crazier it gets. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to look into that, Owen. It's something I had on my mind, and I think that's a good idea. And that might also be a good idea for, I've been thinking about for a YouTube series or a build. To do a build from his workshop and his from his workshop. So having access to all the wood, all the materials. I think that's a good idea. And maybe a community build. I think that I design a guitar, make the plans and templates available for everyone, and have almost like kits available. We could build the guitar together. Hi Safian, goodbye. Have a good day at work or night. Thanks, Faika. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit proud, to be honest, and I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. I don't know if Danish is still in chat. I think he is, but I got contacted by I think one of two, or maybe the only specialized woodworking tool store here in the Netherlands, and they have a magazine they put out every 4 months, I believe, every 3 months, every quarter. And they asked me if they could come to the workshop and do an interview and do a little section, a little article in their magazine about my workshop. So, of course, I said yes. So, I don't know, I think in a month's time they will be here, reporters with cameras and photographers, and they come to do an interview for their magazine about my workshop. So I'm a bit proud that I'm going to be featured, or at least the workshop is going to be featured in that magazine for that particular store. So at what price are going to offer this? Well, if that's your offer, I'll take it. Yeah, Keener, we used to be, I believe, in the top 3, I think, of happiest people, and I think we've dropped a bit to number 4, 5 maybe, I'm not sure, but we're up there, along with our northern brethren. Norway, the Scandinavian countries are usually up there in summer. Winter, not as much, but in summer. But yeah, and that's funny. There are a lot of, at least in my YouTube feed, there are a lot of videos and channels about Americans, US citizens that are living here in the Netherlands, either immigrated here or as expats. So they're working here. And I think it's refreshing as a Dutch native to hear and to see people reacting to a lot of things we take for granted, like healthcare, like how clean it is, our biking culture, things we complain about on a daily basis. And now every time I hear a Dutch person complain about something, I always show them a video. Here, take a look at this and see how other people are, what other people are thinking about living here and how good living here is. It may not be perfect, but it could be far worse, to be honest. And maybe that goes for wherever you live. If you think you have it, you don't have it good, or there are problems or whatever, look up a video of someone visiting your country. There are always people worse off than you. Yeah, Danish, the news, great, yeah. I think in the first issue of coming year, so the first issue of 2025. Wow, thank you, little wolf. It's good to know. Indeed, in Ireland the grass is indeed greener. Telling about the traffic lights. I don't know what to tell about traffic lights. Yeah. Oh no, Barry. No, it's a misconception that we Dutch like our happy cigarettes and our mushrooms and the women and you name it. Of course, like in every country, people like to smoke their cigarettes and such, but most Dutch don't, because that's always the case. If something is prohibited or forbidden or not easy to get by, it's a thrill of doing it. It's a thrill of getting it. It's a thrill of doing maybe a misdemeanor or being sneaky like a kid, taking cookies from a cookie jar you're not supposed to be in, and if your mother catches you, you get a slap on the wrist. As soon as that cookie jar is right there for the taking, and you can take how many cookies you want, whatever you want, it's fun the first day. It might be fun the second day, the third day, the cookies start to be boring. The fourth day, well, they're cookies. All right, let's take one. And after a week, you don't see the cookie jar anymore, and you don't want any cookies anymore. It's with everything. It's with booze. It's with the happy cigarettes. It's with shrooms. And that's what the Dutch government way back understood very well those days. That when you allow it to a certain extent, then a lot of the fun goes away, and maybe the how do you call it? Maybe it gets worse at first. The first couple of weeks, like with the cookie jar, you get fat for a week because of all the cookies, until people get bored, and then it becomes less and less of a problem, and until no one does it anymore. And the few who do, it's highly regulated. You can tax it, of course, like our public women, so to say. It's taxed, and it becomes just a regular business, highly regulated. So it doesn't become a problem anymore. Vaika, yeah, my tip, just start and take your time. Don't rush it. Think about every step when you're working. Think about every step and what you're trying to achieve, what the end goal should be. Of that step, of that particular part of the build. And think about what you need to do to get there with the tools and the skills you have. And take the amount of time your tools and skill allow. So, like sanding, if you think you can sand a body in a day or in the evening, but it will take you a week. So what? It's your first guitar. Take the week and keep working at it until you're happy with the result. And another tip, don't believe what everyone tells you on a forum or on internet. If you feel that your skill level and your tools require you to do something different than what even I'm showing you, or what Ben is showing you, or what whoever is showing you in the YouTube video, if you think with your skills, your tools, and your time you can achieve what you're after, do it the way you think you can do it, if that makes any sense. But most importantly, take your time. I'm thinking with what you do, you'd be in the bit too. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, Becker, about pricing, and I know I'm most likely a bit on the lower side when it comes to my prices, and most likely, but I'm not sure, and that's what I'm struggling with. And although I know it, sometimes there's a difference between knowing something and doing something. Or feeling that what you know is the right course of action. because I know that people who see my guitars expect a certain price range, and when they see a lower price that doesn't meet their expectancy, they get suspicious, so to say. And that's a whole thing in marketing I'm trying to learn right now. That there's something like you don't have to meet, not only have to meet quality and customer service, but also expectation. And that's real hard to learn, I have noticed. Can we do this maybe? No. I recently emptied my deep pockets. That's unfortunate for both of us and Becker guitars. But no worries, no problem, I understand. Isn't there like more bikes than cars? Yeah, there's even more bikes than there are people. We're almost at 18.5 million, maybe approaching 19, and there's, I believe, 1.2, 1.4 bikes for every person. There's almost, yeah, there are a lot of bikes. But don't get me wrong, there are a lot of cars. There are too many cars, to be honest, for the amount of space we have. And our roads are very well maintained, and so that's not a problem, but it's just the sheer volume of cars. So the traffic can get insane at sometimes. And because, and of course, we can do a lot by bike, because we, from the 70s, because it hasn't always been like this. I think the biggest revolution began when we changed from a car culture to a bike culture in the 70s, 80s, I think, when they started doing infrastructure projects. They started to notice that traffic was getting insane even back then. And because we are a small country and a flat country, they realized they had to promote biking to stop congestion in cities and around cities. And that's when they started investing in the biking infrastructure. And because of the short distances and because of the flatness of the country, a bike is a very, very good alternative to a car for most people. Is the activity of the... Yeah, most will do a bike ride. And they should. Yeah, well, text pays for a lot of things. Yeah, Vika, listen to Owen, same advice. I used to live in the States and hated it. No, not a lot of hills, only in the south. There are some hills, but... There are a lot of bikes in the canals, indeed. Yeah, a lot of great tips. What the? Don't do that. Let's see, can I? Oh, yeah. So guys, oh, right here. Have a great working day, Becker. Becker Guitars. Oh, work starts early tomorrow. All right, have a good night. Have a good night. All right. That's a good idea, Vika. I've been thinking maybe I'm going to check the batteries of my, not much left, unfortunately. So, I've been thinking what might be a good idea is, or a source for guitar nicks, might be a thrift shop. Second-hand store, thrift shop, pawn shop, where they usually have an abundance of guitars. And depending on the market in your area, it might be even lucrative to buy guitars from pawn shops, from thrift shops. Work on them, improve them, clean them, set them up and sell them on as a hobby or maybe as a side hustle. And to learn to get into guitar maintenance and maybe guitar building at a relatively affordable way. Maybe only get a cheap guitar from a thrift shop and only use a neck, for example. Yeah, it's I think second-hand guitars, fixing second-hand guitars or repurposing second-hand guitars is a very fun, low, relatively low cost and low how do you call it? Stepping stone, low entrance level of getting into guitars. And if you mess it up, if you buy a second-hand guitar for a couple of bucks, or maybe even one of those 90 bucks guitars brand new, and try if you can improve them, and if you mess it up, you had a lot of fun and you've learned a lot of stuff for 90 bucks. Change the pickups, try to improve the fretwork, try and if you can improve the finish by buffing it and polishing it better. Who knows? Little wolf, walk the other way. Don't look. I have to blur this section. It's just out of frame now. Yeah, that's the rabbit hole. That's the start. Working on your own guitars, that's how it all starts. So guys, let's see, we're 3 hours in already. I think I'll go for another 12 minutes, so 3.5 hours. And that should also be the end of my battery packs, if I can. Yeah, I think so. There's only one tiny bar left on my wireless receiver. Are they red already? Not yet, but close. but I think I've sanded the guitar well enough for pore filling, because after pore filling I have to sand it again, of course. So maybe tomorrow I'll give it another pass with 240 grit. Raise the, well, for pore filling the mahogany I don't have to raise the grit, or raise the grain, because of the moisture that's in the grain filler. So after grain filler, sand it again, and I might seal the mahogany, but that will be in a video, because of the false binding I don't want any stain that I'm going to use on the top of the guitar to soak into the mahogany and be visible as a stain. So I have to come up with a solution for that, but yeah, for now I like it thus far. I think we've done a good job tonight in sanding the guitar, and I think with sanding at one point you have to call it good, because at least I can keep sanding and sanding, and it can get in your head that you're seeing scratches where there aren't any. Oh. But I decided for myself that it's a good trait to worry to some extent about how good it should be, instead of the other way around, that doing, I don't know what it's called, but making it too easy on yourself, or being satisfied too quick, like, all right, I've sanded and I'm done. I've accepted for myself that I am who I am, and that I'm a perfectionist, and that if I want to, I should take my time to get it the way I'm happy with it. I don't think it made any sense, but to me it did. All right. I think I'm happy with it for now. Like I said, after grain filling, and with grain filling, of course, I will spot any scratches, any inconsistencies on the mahogany straight away. So, and you guys, unfortunately, will have to wait for the final result. I hope till next Monday, when I hopefully have edited and uploaded the video about grain filling and most likely staining the body. Let's close the small camera. So, yeah, my phone is overheated. I'm going to pull you a bit closer for the final shot of the stream. Here, Chet, where are you? So guys, yeah, I don't know if it shows up on camera, the difference. Maybe you can see now how clean all the edges are, especially the bottom here. All the striping is gone. Nice and smooth back. Of course, this cover plate is inside. I have to finish the cover plate and make a small cover plate for this hole as well. So I might have to do that tomorrow as well, or maybe off camera. But I'm happy we've managed to sand the entire guitar up to 220 grit. So just a light pass with 240 grit, and like I said, some grain filling, maybe sealing, sanding sealer over the mahogany, and then I can stain the front, the top of the guitar, hopefully Friday and Saturday, so I can have a video out for you guys on Monday. But of course I'll keep you posted if I won't make it, and if I'll do another live stream. I don't think I can manage to do another live stream this week, but yeah, keep an eye out for the videos and the live streams, of course. So let's take a final look at chat before we call it a night. Oh yeah, liquid masking tape. I've heard of it. Stanley, good night. Good night, Barry. I'm sorry if I missed you guys. That's nice, let's say nee. It's worth it. Oh yeah, if that's about making the neck yourself, is it worth it? Yeah, it definitely is. That if you're talking about custom and bespoke and boutique guitar, whatever you would like to call it, it's mostly about the neck. The neck makes all the difference, and the neck and the fretboard is where most of the magic happens. It's the user interface of the entire guitar. This is where the magic needs to happen. You can have any body shape you like. It could be the most beautiful, well-designed body shape imaginable, but if you don't have a good neck, it still will be a shitty guitar. Sorry. But yeah, making the neck and learning how to make a neck is absolutely worth it. And like I said, if you're scared to start making necks straight away, start by refretting a guitar. 2 guitars. Buy a cheap guitar, and not even refretting, but like I said, buy a $90 guitar and try to improve the fretwork. You can immediately feel the sharp edges on those frets. Try to address them, and you don't need many tools, just a fret end dressing file and some fine grit sandpapers get you a very long, can get you very far. Maybe even those nail polishing files. I think they're perfect, and I have to try it once, but I have a feeling they will be perfect to polishing and dressing frets. Those, I think you guys, everyone with a regular girl, with a girlfriend or who's married, knows those foamy, semi-flexible nail files, nail polishing. I don't know, sticks, files. I don't know what they're called. I think they're perfect. They're cheap, and I think you can very well use them to polish and dress frets. So give it a go. Just a couple of bucks. Start with that. Start with cheap second-hand or cheap guitars and try to improve them. You learn a lot from it. So yeah, 40 seconds left. Thanks for the stream. You're all welcome. Thank you. Yeah, good night, little wolf. Yeah, Vika, hopefully you're welcome. Take what you want from it. Owen, again, thank you. Keener Custom Guitars, you've been the first here and the last to go. First one in, last one out. Yeah. You got a day ahead of you still. Good day to you, Keener. Vika, good night. Esther, good night, everyone who I've missed that's still in the stream but isn't in chat or I've missed. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. As always, yeah, we talked about it. If you have the opportunity, hit that like button, leave a comment or a question, and I hope to see you all in the next video or during a next stream. Have a good night, everyone. See you next time. But until then, take care and bye-bye, guys.